Hi, my name is Mark Bolda. I work as a farm advisor here on the Central Coast, Santa Cruz, Monterey, and San Bernardino counties.
And I'm Steve Koike, plant pathology farm advisor with UC Cooperative Extension, also in the same counties.
So the reason for this video today is to discuss a little bit about the situation with anthracnose in strawberries this fall of 2015. Some of you viewers have heard of some evidence of anthracnose up at the high elevation nurseries, and then some concern about anthracnose with the low elevation frigo plants that were planted this past summer in the Santa Maria area.
And Mark, because of that concern, growers in the Central Coast area have been submitting samples to our laboratory. As you know, our UC Extension laboratory is funded to support our growers, and we run tests for the strawberry growers on these various diseases. And because of that concern, the last few weeks we have received dozens and dozens of samples, with some of which have possible anthracnose symptoms. Now Mark, out of the 50 plus samples we've gotten in the last few weeks, there was anthracnose, but only one sample. One sample out of that 50 plus lot of plants had anthracnose. So it doesn't appear like there's very much out there, and we're not sure about the degree of concern it should engender.
So you have that, you have the diagnostic evidence, one sample out of 50, but then also you have this impending El Nino season, which means warmer weather, a little bit moister than what we'd normally be accustomed to.
And Mark, the weather is really critical because the wet weather in the form of rain really drives anthracnose disease. Anthracnose is a damaging pathogen if the conditions are wet and suitable for the fungus. The fungus can affect almost any part of the strawberry plant, Mark. It can cause discoloration and lesions in the crown, leading to crown collapse or plant collapse. It can infect and cause lesions on stems, on petioles, on the pedicels that have the fruit. And if there's fruit there, Mark, you can get some nasty rots on the fruit as well from this anthracnose fungus. Now, there is concern out there because, for example, in the few last weeks we worked on this case, Mark, where growers were submitting strawberry runners to our laboratory and they had lesions on them that looked like anthracnose. But after isolating and analyzing hundreds of these lesions, we found zero anthracnose on any of these lesions. So that's a good way to remind our growers and field people to be careful about field diagnosis.
So given that, so now you know the situation with the anthracnose, this is what we know, this is what we're sharing with you. Given that, if you do have some concern about that level of risk, you can do plant dips prior to planting. There's plenty of evidence, work of our colleagues. They've shown the use of a bound, doing plant dips prior to planting with a bound. It works just fine. You should be aware though, when you use something like that, you have to dispose of it somewhere. You have your worker safety. And then also, you need to be planting on the same day that you're doing the dip. So you need to be going through there fairly quickly. So these are the kinds of things. So you have, this perception of risk, and then you do have something that you can do, but it's going to be a bit of work. So that's what we're saying right now.
Thank you for watching. I'm Steve Koike.
Mark Bolda. Thanks again.